This episode is brought to you in collaboration with Stamford Botanics, your go-to destination for beautiful, thriving plants. Visit stamfordbotanics.co.uk to explore their collection. Welcome to Exist Better Conscious Conversations. Today I have Life Force Energy Facilitator Ruth on the podcast. Ruth will be talking all about our own innate energy system, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, what they are. We'll be talking about Kundalini energy and awakening to our true selves. I hope you enjoy. Welcome, Ruth. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, you are a facilitator of Life Force Energy.
Yes, I am.
Could you explain for our listeners what is Life Force Energy?
Well, Life Force Energy in Chinese wisdom is known as Qi, and in Indian wisdom is known as Prana. But it's essentially the essence of life, of existence, of creation in motion. And this is something that all humans can experience, and it lies within our bodies, but also lies within nature. It is what, like I said, anything that is living and birthing, creating, moving, this is almost like the essence of life force energy. And it's within our cells and our body as well. So this is working alongside that energy. And in doing so, we allow people to experience extreme vitality, a lot of bliss, a lot of love. And it's a very powerful tool for healing as well.
It is, and I've been to your sessions for the last year, and they are really powerful and amazing and different every single time. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
Yeah. So you were training, and you trained in Bali, didn't you?
I did indeed, yeah. My mentor, she does quite an extensive training program where the main goal or intention of the training is embodiment. It's almost like living this as much as possible. And so my training took 9 months, and there was online support, a theoretical aspect to it as well. And we were allowed to access as many sessions as we needed to be able to embody and experience the magic of this energy healing. And then, there was a in-person training in Bali as well, where it was almost like we were initiated into the energy. So the core of this work is very ritualistic and very ceremonial, which I personally love. I think that is extremely powerful to cultivate in your day-to-day life anyway, but it just brings us back to intentional living and even like how our ancestors lived, where that almost like formed the basis of community, of like the way of living. And so it's very beautiful. It's an amazing experience. Yeah.
And so you're working with Life Force Energy. So where does Kundalini come into this?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it's something that I've recently been curious about and questioning. This is such a vast topic. There's so many aspects of this work. So for those that are unaware, some people call what I do Kundalini Activation. And I've recently just decided for now that isn't what I want to name or label this healing modality in regards to what resonates for me, but I'm very much open for that changing. So from my studying, from what I believe to be true, is currently right now is that we are working with this life force energy. Kundalini is again, according to different sources, some people call it energy, some people call it pure consciousness. And so for me, just so I can begin to understand what's happening in the body and what I believe to be true, I resonate with it being pure consciousness. It's the divine feminine, it's Shakti, it's again, it is life consciousness.
Yeah.
And so I understand why people call it energy, because obviously it moves and you can like feel it rising in your system. You can feel it rising in your body. And also there is no right or wrong. So if you resonate with calling it energy, that's really awesome as well. But basically what this life force energy healing can do, it can activate the Kundalini rising and the Kundalini awakening process. But I just want to be very clear that these sessions aren't a way for you to awaken Kundalini. Kundalini is a soul contract. It's something that no one can coerce or will or control. Someone could be in meditation and doing yoga their whole lives and never have a Kundalini awakening. Someone could just sit on a mat once and just boom, the Kundalini can awaken. So it's something that definitely is dependent on, honestly, like our past lives and how much work we've done around raising consciousness within ourselves in our past lives, and how much our soul is ready for that process, because it can be very extreme. It can be very intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
is that why you decided on a bit of a name change?
Yeah, partly because, and I think it is okay if people come into these sessions to work with Kundalini. I feel that because we are not directly working with Kundalini, it could be misleading, which is why I resonate more with life force energy, because that's actually what we're working with. And even though, some of the experiences you can have in these sessions are very similar to what can happen in a Kundalini awakening as well, it is actually the nature of the life force. And I just almost want to encourage not attending these sessions to awaken Kundalini. I have had people being like, how can I awaken my Kundalini? How can I? And of course, there are ways in which we can prep the body, like I'm saying, meditation, yoga. Even these sessions are a way to prep the body, like how the life force energy is moving through us. It's almost like it's widening our energetic channels so that Kundalini can rise within the system. So it is very interconnected. But I just want to air caution on encouraging people to come to these sessions to have a Kundalini awakening. And again, just like it's important for us to be educated on like what actually a Kundalini awakening can entail, because it's not, it is beautiful, like it is obviously you're elevating consciousness. Eventually there is enlightenment that gets to be, I don't want to say achieved, but that can come like with a lot of challenge and a lot of discomfort. And it is very much those that are willing to face all their trauma, to deal with any like physical issues that can come up. Like there can be a lot of like gut health issues and like physical ailments that arise if this Kundalini awakens. And it definitely takes, I want to say, more of your warrior archetype to be able to hold yourself through this and allow the Kundalini awakening process to happen. So
okay.
Yeah.
So anyone kind of expecting to walk into a class and have their Kundalini awoken, it's not going to happen unless you are ready for it.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like, I'm not God.
Yeah.
Like
just awakening you all.
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm actually doing nothing. I'm really not doing anything. I'm like a vessel or an instrument. I am just a channel for divinity and the universe to work through me. And all the people are doing in my session is they're just becoming attuned to the frequency that I'm emitting. And that's why in my training, like the priority was embody this frequency, because as you begin to purge out past pains and traumas and stagnant emotion, as you begin to heal that, it's almost like the density of the human experience and the density of trauma and those lower vibrational emotions begin to leave the system, leave the body, And at the same time, it's almost like you're getting poured in like bliss and love and divinity. So it's this simultaneous process, purification process of purging out heavy and stagnant, and at the same time embodying light and love. And it's extremely magical in that way. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing. So has this become, I suppose, completely integrated into your own life?
Yeah, I mean, as much as it is right now at this point, like I think even people that have had full-blown Kundalini awakenings and have reached that space of enlightenment where this energy has like moved up through all the chakras, and then moved back down into the heart and opened the heart space. That's almost like the nature and the journey of a Kundalini awakening process. Like even them, they still have more. There's more layers. Like it's never ending, the depths of consciousness that we can enter as human beings. And so, there is this like you're never done. You're just never done. And it's a continuous journey. So there's still areas of my life where I can see that I'm in my wounding, or my patterning comes up, or I'm not in a place where I desire it to be, but that's all because there's still lessons for me to learn. There's still evolution to take place. So,
yeah. I love that. And obviously there's going to be people listening that have never even heard of Kundalini or be aware that there is this life force energy within us that we can access and heal ourselves. With the divine feminine, which is what you're working with, that energy, could you give people some insight into what that is and what that means?
Yeah. Can't really talk about the divine feminine without talking about the divine masculine. Yeah. So what I believe, and the conclusion that I've so far come to, and of course I'm always open to evolving, is that the divine feminine is life consciousness, life itself. Like, anything that is evolving and growing and moving, that is the divine feminine. The divine masculine is consciousness of the cosmos and the universe. So it is the depth and the witness. So I love the analogy of a riverbed. The masculine is holding the water, and the water is the movement. The water is life. And the masculine is just guiding and just gently hold. It's not restricting. It's not trapping. It's just guiding, because the movement is chaotic. It's chaos. Yeah. And without a guide, and without like almost leading and directing this chaotic flow of life, then you just literally have chaos. Yeah. So you need both. So for me, that's almost like the core of it. But then you can talk about there's certain traits, like behavior traits and ways of being that us as humans can purposely practice that could be categorized as either masculine or feminine. So feminine is our intuition, it's our emotions, it's being fluid and being vulnerable, being very open. It's receptive and receiving. The masculine is very logical and directional, action taking, purpose driven. It's leadership. So there are ways that we can connect to the divine feminine, divine masculine through those personality traits as well. And we have been brought up in a patriarchal society. A lot of us are kind of leaning more towards the masculine at the minute, and I believe we're at a really exciting stage of life where it got to the point where, as it always happens when we enter into extremes, like we've swung too far into the masculine, and so we're beginning to pull back in and allowing the feminine to rise to create more of that balance and harmony. And you can see that in the collective and maybe even in yourselves as well. So things that society has valued, like achievement, doing, and even career and work, that the impetus has been put on that, and it's almost seemed like we've forgotten the exquisiteness of rest and of being and of allowing and of trust. And I went through a period of my life where I was forced to rest, and just all the conditioning of me having no value because I'm not doing anything came up. Yeah. And that is extremely ingrained in the Western culture. So you can experience the divine feminine through our humanness, but also just at its core, it really is just life, chaos, movement, and the masculine is consciousness and gently holding, container, witness. Yeah.
But you don't want to be too far one way or the other. You want to balance.
Ideally. Ideally. I mean, it's my belief, and there are teachings that us as human beings, we tend to have an essence. So there tends to be one that ignites our soul more than the other. And it's nothing to do with gender. So it's not necessarily women are feminine essence and men are masculine essence, though that is extremely common. So for me, it's really about tuning into where that really sits within you as a person, as an individual. But then also, like, suddenly you're in relationship with other people, and it's something called polarity, where one person sits more in the masculine, another person sits more in the feminine, and they magnetize towards each other. There's like an attraction, and I don't necessarily mean romantic attraction, but just like there's two poles of a magnet, and they come together when they attract and it's opposite, and then they repel when they're the same. Yeah. So it's one of the laws of the universe. So, and even if you think like everything's a relationship. We're in a relationship to everything. So sometimes even in nature, if I'm around mountains, which aren't necessarily feminine because they are not moving, they are not light, they're sturdy and still. So for me, mountains are really masculine. And because they are masculine, I feel so held and grounded that I can then become the feminine in their presence. Yeah. Whereas like in water, obviously you can become one with the water and move in the feminine, but there's something so beautiful about like just standing in the ocean and allowing the waves to wash over you, or like putting your feet in a little river or something like that, and just being with the life. That's, or even like the wind is gorgeous. Obviously the wind is moving, it's the feminine, and just staying still in the wind. There's like, it depends on what we're perceiving we are in relationship to, that the masculine and the feminine roles can shift and change. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. And it's such a lovely way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. With the masculine and feminine energy, and you're working with the feminine. Yeah. Can men then come to these sessions as well?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And is it really beneficial for them?
I mean, yeah, if they feel called to this particular modality, it really, really is. Like I said, it's like we all have these masculine and feminine energies within us, and they get to be balanced within us as well. And, you know, like leadership is beautiful within a man, but when it doesn't come from the heart. Yeah. Yeah. When it comes from a closed heart and there's just protection and there's armor, and the heart isn't open, which is the feminine, you know, then that can lead to misguided leadership. It can be what we call wounded masculine. It can become a bit, you know, a dictatorship instead. So it's really important for men to connect to their feminine, and this is one way to do it. But ultimately, like, we are working with divine feminine energy within, but even in sessions, and it'd be interesting to hear your perspective on this, because obviously you've been, is that it's a beautiful container or space to practice either becoming the feminine or embodying the masculine of consciousness. Because if, for example, we just take one aspect of this work where it's like an emotional release, so you feel emotions in the body, and whatever that may be, let's say it's anger. So you can either choose to witness the anger, and it may feel like, okay, so I have fire in my belly and I can feel that fire burning and moving up through to my chest, and maybe that fire then spreads down to my fingers and I'm wanting to move, but at the minute I'm just observing the sensations. That's the masculine, where you're just like being with what is. That's observing, being the witness. Or you can choose to move into the feminine, which is like, rah, like becoming the anger and like punching something or screaming or whatever it may be, and just allowing that energy in you to become whatever it is. And like both are extremely powerful, and both are necessary. Like the feminine is like an incredible place to create art, and a incredible place even to inspire the masculine as well. Yeah. So even though we are working with the feminine, it requires the masculine to be present as well.
Okay. You need both.
Yeah.
I love that, because sometimes, obviously, I've been to your sessions and sometimes it is very quiet and you're kind of observing. And then other times it's like letting go and, as you said, screaming or, moving through it, physically moving. I didn't realise that was kind of the balance between the two.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think for me, it's like, which one do you require more practice in? Like a lot of people go to the witnessing because it's more comfortable.
Totally.
Yeah. Because it's extremely vulnerable to be seen in raw expression, to be seen as your authentic self. And a lot of people have learned that isn't safe, that isn't okay, that their feelings are not welcome in some way, shape or form. And those beliefs can be formed predominantly from childhood, but that can also be, from generations back as well. That sort of belief system has been passed down, and that's what I really feel we are undoing in this time right now. And and so if there's more self-consciousness around becoming the emotion and allowing yourself to cry, to howl, to hiss, like to just whatever is coming through. And if that's more uncomfortable, I really encourage that to be the practice, because it's beautiful. That's where the beauty of life exists. Yeah. Like, again, the feminine, it inspires the masculine because she is life itself. Yeah. Yeah. It would be so boring. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think life could exist without either one of them. But yeah, it'd be so boring. Yeah.
Wow. And going back to what you said about the masculine is so about doing, and keeping yourself busy in a way. Your intuition and all of that is the feminine. And I really feel that when I'm pushing and doing so much, nothing seems to happen for me. Yeah. And when I rest and just allow things to flow and unfold, like amazing things happen. And it's that battle in us to allow ourselves to rest, to allow ourselves to kind of follow our intuition, because we're taught to be busy and doing all the time. Yeah.
And get validated for it as well.
Or you're lazy.
Yes. Yeah. That was a big one. Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah. It's not ideal.
And then undoing that.
Yeah. It is. It's something that takes a lot of courage. It's like going against the current. It's going against like the tide. And it's, I don't like using the word counterintuitive, because actually it is in our intuitive nature to allow ourselves to rest. So it's like counter conditioning, basically. Yeah, where you really got to go against it. But I think that says for any aspect of you moving out of any sort of conditioning and any sort of paradigms that society is, or family or friends have set up for you, or beliefs that you've taken on for yourself, it does feel like going against the tide when you begin to do it. It feels like a completely new, scary thing. And it also then can bring up all the core emotions that are intertwined within that belief as well, which is extremely uncomfortable. Like the shame can come up with being lazy. Not feeling good enough can be very interconnected with that as well. I don't know about you as a woman, as you were just sharing about how things don't flow, but like I dry up, like physically, spiritually and emotionally if I'm in my masculine too long. Like I literally dry, and I get symptoms of that in my body as well. Like it's, again, like life is meant to be juicy. It's meant to be like enjoyed, and particularly for us as women as well. I mean, we have cycles. We're not meant to work 9 to 5 every single week. Like, we just don't work like that. And I think when we begin to tune in again to our authentic selves and how we are innately made, the more we do that, the more we can like respect what our body and our intuition and our soul is asking of us. And life just becomes a lot more, like I said, juicy and inspiring and blissful and beautiful. Yet we are currently in a society that does not support that.
Yeah. And I feel like we need to be open to new ways of being. As women. It doesn't have to be the way that we're told it has to be. You know, being open. Is there another way that we could exist? And the answer is yes.
Definitely. And it just, you know, for me, it's a process of, honestly, it's been a process of like, right, I just require to address my individual ways of being. So how my trauma and my past pains have blocked me from connecting to my authentic self and who I am. So I went through a phase where that was my priority, where like I had to address myself. And only once I got to a certain stage of that, there's like this innate surge of suddenly moving from self-service to service of others, and then actually beginning to think, oh, okay, there's actually ways we can help each other to begin to change this. But it's a bit like it's a bit like, I don't know, like a massive ocean ship, and it's like trying to turn it. It's like so incremental, and it looks like hardly anything, but just, you know, I am a big believer in every single thought, every single action, every single intention counts. It all counts. So it's not easy. But you know, if we ask ourselves, like, why do we do it? Well, because that's why I'm here. That's why.
I love that. And I really resonate with, I suppose, when I felt when I wasn't on this journey, but I had this deep knowing that I had to get myself into a good place. I had to serve myself first before I could serve others. So I really resonate with that. You know, it was this deep knowing, but obviously very frustrating, because I'm like, oh, this is going to take ages. I have to fix mind, body and soul. And I really had to address all of that. And I just knew that if I put all my time and energy into that, that I was going to find my purpose, and things were going to really unfold for me then. And it worked. It took time though.
It does. It takes a long time. Healing does. Like, it doesn't happen under pressure. It happens, like, you know, I always love to use the analogy of you can't force a rose petals open before it's ready to bloom. Like there's this
So
just
true.
natural timing of healing and of nature and seasons, and you know, as well as that being reflected in nature, that's with our individualness as well. Like for me, this is like the paradox of healing, and something that you begin to really feel and embody when working with like life force energy healing, is that we are individuals, and at the same time we are all one. And that is a truth that when that begins to really seep into your cells, you do begin to show up in life differently, because you realize that everyone's a reflection of you. Completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if I was to hurt you, I'd also be hurting myself.
Yes.
And it's just, okay, you begin to see things a lot more differently, but it's dancing between the two. Like the human reality, that individualness isn't bad, and it's not about trying to get rid of that either. It's building a relationship to it so that you can accept it as part of this experience that we're having, as well as remembering and continuing to remember that we are all everything. We are the universe. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
It's so true. I just think about even just doing this, doing the podcast. It's, well, if I worry about people watching me or judgment or anything like that, well, it's just all, it's all different versions of me watching me.
Yeah.
And it actually makes it easier.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely,
it's just all versions of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're one.
Yeah. Really confronting if it's something that we deem as not nice.
Yes.
And
totally. Totally.
It's the shadow.
It's the shadow, yeah.
Yeah.
But people don't like that part.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so easy to maintain a sense of separation by saying they're wrong and I'm right.
Completely.
Yeah. And like I still get caught in that. Of course. Like it's gonna happen. And I think, in fact, that the more you step into your light and the more you are being seen, the more that's going to come to the forefront. And unless there is an outlet for you embodying those shadow aspects of yourself, and you, if you present yourself as this pure leader of good and light, that shadow's going to come out.
Totally.
Yeah. But saying that, like, I think one of the things that we get to learn as humans is to understand that everyone's just doing the best they can with that, and that everyone's shadow is going to come out. Now, we can't always catch it, and just giving ourselves a little bit of grace, giving others grace in that as well. Yeah, but again, that can be challenging for us. Yeah.
Would you mind sharing your journey and how you came to, I know you were facilitating breath work before.
Yes.
And I went to you for that.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I went in complete agony, could barely walk with my back. And I wasn't even sure why I was going, in a way. It was just like, I felt like I have to do this. Yeah. And we had a private session, and I mean, next day all pain was gone completely. So it was really powerful. And I know I really let loose in that session. Yeah. I did, but I really needed to. But could you kind of guide us through what brought you then to breath work and then life force energy?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it all starts with my childhood, in the sense that I was always fascinated by mental health because I was around it all the time. My dad had severe depression. He was on and off suicidal. God. And and I was the youngest of 4. And so my mum had to step in and be the breadwinner and had to hold everything together. And not their fault, but I just didn't get my needs met. And I felt chronically alone. No one was there when I was experiencing these big emotions to help guide me through what was going on. And the way that I learned to cope was dissociate. So I ended up experiencing this void within that just nothing could fill, this numbness. And so I was diagnosed with depression when I was like 14. I was like really quite young. Yeah. And got passed from counsellor to counsellor. Like I didn't want to take any medication. I knew that. And no, I felt like no one was helping me. Everyone was trying to make me feel better. No one was meeting me where I was and explaining why this was happening and why I was feeling like this. So I just thought this was normal and like how you live life. And my place where I felt like home, where I felt like my soul could come to the forefront and be alive, was dance. So that became, my passion. And I did that all the way through school. I trained at college and then went to university and trained at dance as well. And then I had a sense of service, because I was like, I just don't want to dance for people. Like, I want to do something more. So I trained as a secondary school dance teacher. And at the end of that training, I was like my most stressed and my most burnt out. I had a really severe back injury. I had, herniated discs, and then I had structural issues with my pelvis as well. And that led me to being bedbound for 6 months, and it was a 2-year recovery period, and I was only 24. Wow. So all my friends were like going to London and getting careers and having my best life, and I was there at home in bed with my parents.
God.
Yeah. So understandably, I fell into a bit of a dark hole.
Yeah.
But, it also meant that I was, still around my dad. And I remember waking up one day and just being like, I just refuse to live my life like this. There's got to be more to life than just this darkness and heaviness and struggle every single day. And it was at that time that I picked up my first self-development book.
What was it?
Oh, it's a Tony Robbins book.
Oh.
Yeah.
Love Tony.
I want to say it was The Giant Within. Is that how it's called? I think it was that one. So I read that, and I ended up training up in Pilates to help my back, because that was my rehab, and started a Pilates business. I joined a marketing program to help the business grow, and they were really heavy on mindset. They had the notion of, your mindset determines your success, basically.
Wow.
And what you believe to be true is. So I just became extremely fascinated with that aspect of it. And so, almost like would spend my days reading and journaling and like understanding the unconscious mind and the conscious mind, and how unconscious beliefs are like dictating behaviours and all that sort of stuff. And that was what I got really fascinated with, to the point where I let go of my Pilates business, trained as a coach. And started a coaching business. I went through a period where I literally like burned my life to the ground. So I was let go of a partner that I was in relationship with for 4.5 years. I was living with at the time. I ended up moving to Spain, and I let go of the Pilates business in that time as well. And I guess it was like me trying to really find myself, and it was actually through adventuring in the mountains where I really found like connected back to my essence and my soul again. And it was there that I realized that, we can write affirmations, we can look ourselves in the mirror and be like, I love you, like you're gorgeous, you're the best, and it just doesn't sink in. So it was there that I realized, I was like, right, the body needs an experience. Like that's where like the somatics really came in, like body-based things. And without realizing it, I was discovering that how much wisdom and how much information lies within the body. And actually, if we work more with the body, and there's the communication from the body to brain is like 80%, and it's only 20% from the brain to body. So if the body is feeling unsafe, the brain's going to kick off with all these thoughts. But so much of, again, like our Western culture has been like, let's focus on the mind, let's focus on the thoughts. It's like, well, that is going to do nothing if the body doesn't feel something. So in this case, like feel safety.
Yeah.
So people think anxiety lives in the mind, anxiety lives in the body.
Totally agree.
So that was where that came about, and I was locked down in Spain, and I then began to look at more psychological books and resources, and that for me, I think it stopped me in my tracks, because I was just a bit of a powerhouse. I was just going. I couldn't rest, couldn't stop. I was stuck in my sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, for sure. And COVID like disrupted my life enough to let some stuff move to the surface. And I'm a big believer that intensity brings up what was bubbling under the surface to the surface. And I think COVID for everyone was very intense. So a lot of people made changes, not because of COVID, but because COVID highlighted what needed to be changed. And of course it was very challenging because a lot of it seemed very sudden. Like there's so many people I know that relationships broke down, or their jobs got changed, careers got changed, or they got ill, or there were so many things that have been course correctors for people in their lives from that. And I just went into a dark night of the soul. Like I felt like I was underwater. Like I felt like so heavy, and it was almost like I was sludging around in my psyche. Like everything was just so dark, and I just isolated myself, and I just went on a bit of a rampage of healing modalities. I was like, which one's gonna help me? And so I explored loads. Like I came across breath at that period of time, around 2020. I met my psychotherapist that I still am with her as well. Somatic therapy, feminine embodiment coaching, cold water therapy, plant medicine, really connected to meditation and yoga, all these healing modalities. Sound healing was a big one as well. And I guess I was just really looking for, I was still in the place of like, what can I do to help people, as a way from still running away from what I needed to do within me. But it was beautiful. It led me back to the UK, and I started a master's in spiritual psychology. And I was 3 weeks into it, and I fainted, hit my head, and got a concussion. Again, it was like another burnout, because I was still pushing, still running. And the universe was like, girl,
rest.
Yeah, stop. What are you doing? And so I know it was partly me that knocked myself out. Like, that's exactly what I needed. But because my systems were under so much stress, my body couldn't repair itself from the impact of a concussion. And the concussion isn't about like a hit on the head. It's actually like a wave through the brain that causes the concussion symptoms. And obviously like a wave through a brain is extreme, like alarms, everything just fires off in the brain systems. But if you haven't been able to, or if your systems have been in overdrive, like my nervous system was just shot, I was constantly in survival, then I had no way of healing myself. So the symptoms lasted for 18 months. It was like,
wow.
Yeah. So for about a year, I spent my day either in nature, just staring at a river and staring in the woods, or in a dark room with, just resting. I couldn't sleep. I was exhausted, but couldn't sleep. Anything that stimulated the brain. So couldn't read, couldn't listen to music, listen to podcasts, like any sort of new information, bright lights. Sometimes even conversations were too much, like sounds. Oh, it was just everything. So it was almost like the universe was like, hey, you need to eliminate all distractions, because we really need you to look at yourself. And so, I was just on my own in a dark room with just myself. And so that was the period of time where I finally was able to face everything and build up intimacy with myself, allowed my nervous system to heal. And I'm very grateful for it. It's exactly what I needed. And off the back of that, breath had been incredible at purging out a lot of emotion for me. And almost like, just moving through somatically a lot of trauma. So that's when I started facilitating breath, but I still knew it wasn't the thing. And then I came across my mentor in a divinely placed way.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you didn't seek this out?
No.
Wow.
I'll tell you the story because it's really funny.
Please do.
Yeah. So I was on Hinge, which is a dating app. And I went on a date with this guy who he kind of was to and from Bali.
Yeah.
But I only went on 2 dates with him in the end. And it was on the second date, he placed his hand at the small of my spine. And he said that he felt snakes shoot up his spine. So snake is the symbol of Kundalini. It's known as like serpent energy, and it does move through the body in waves. He was like, "Do you know what Kundalini is?" I was like, "No." This was like, when did I find my mentor? I found her in January 2023. So it was December 2022. And yeah, I was like, no idea. And then he messaged me after the date and was like, "Merry Christmas." And he had bought me an online session from my mentor, and then I never saw him again.
No way.
Yeah. And then on that first session, I had a vision of training in Bali, and it was like, this is what you're meant to be doing. So it was like that first session I knew. Yeah.
It's like he was placed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was so divine.
To set you on the path.
Yeah, and I like on the training, I was speaking to my Kundalini sisters, and I was like, "How do you find it?" They were like, "Oh, I saw her on Instagram," kind of thing. I was like, mine was definitely like a universe. Like, "Hey, girl, this is for you," and it is. And like for me, the difference between breath and this. So breath, you're still in the masculine because you're still doing. It's still taking action. There's still like a drive, a self-drive, and it has its place. It's really valid. But for me, there was something so soul nourishing about the way you really, really sink into the magic and the wonder of this work is through surrender.
Yeah,
that's the opening, release. It's the feminine, and so it filled me up in a way that breath didn't. And also we're working with like activating a divine energy. So whereas the breath, it felt like purge, this felt purge, but then pour in the bliss, pour in the love, and pour in the creative potential and the, universal intelligence. So it was almost like this two-way thing was happening. So for me, I resonated a lot more with Kundalini activation or life force energy healing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you trained in it.
Trained in it. And like it wasn't easy. I'm someone, and from our conversations I feel like you're like this as well. I'm someone that like when I have something in my heart that I know gets to be prioritized. So obviously I was coming out of the concussion, savings gone. I was on benefits, like just spent day in, day out doing nothing. It almost felt like I had no worth at one point. Like obviously then I found my worth through just understanding I exist, therefore I'm worthy.
Yeah.
But it meant that I then had to start to work again. And so everything's happened so gradually for me as I've come back. I literally came from ground zero, like have nothing, no capacity energy wise for anything. And so then it's been incremental, and like it's been fascinating. Even like driving takes so much energy, and I still feel it now. Sometimes I still like plan my day so that I don't drive, because it's the focus that like I'm just super sensitive to that stuff now, and like screens and social media and texting's the worst for me. So I really had to build up my capacity, and that included like work. So I really had to fall into this place of trust that the universe will provide, and at the same time like still taking action on my heart and what my soul was asking of me. But there were times, and like my mentor is Bali based, and she had come to the UK to do sessions, and because of where it was located and the time of day, it would hit rush hour. So it'd actually be like a 5.5 hour round trip for me to go. So I remember like I'd leave my house about midday and come back about 9:30 at night. That would be whenever she would come. And sometimes I would purchase her session before I knew I had enough money for food for the next week. Like I was just, I don't advise everyone to live like that. It's a really intense way of living. But that's just the level of trust I have. And I just knew it. And even as I was coming out and like, this business was beginning to evolve, there was a period of time where it was like, I just focused on dating and men. And I kind of like put the business and making money aside, because I just had this knowing that this is what I needed to focus on is my patterns and trauma regarding my relationship with men. And I understand why I did that instead of the business. And now the business is beginning to take momentum. I've actually welcomed in my conscious partner. I was single 6 years, and like, yeah, he's come. I definitely manifested him.
Yeah,
for sure. Because he's everything that I asked for, and like our relationship is just already, and it's quite new still, but already so rich and has so much depth, and we're getting challenged in a way that I don't think either of us expected.
Yeah.
But I can see why, like, wow, it's really gonna, like, I feel so much support from him that I understand why the business just didn't immediately, like, take off. It's like I've required, like, we're so much more powerful when the woman is if you're in this kind of relationship where the woman is embracing her power as a woman,
yeah,
and the man is embracing his power as a man. It's the yin yang, masculine, feminine. They've got the power when they become one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really takes something. So yeah, just the trust. I think trust is just so important with it.
It is. And do you see yourself working together?
Yeah, we're always speaking about it.
I bet you are.
Yeah. It's definitely on the cards. Again, it just looking at the vision and what kind of life we want for the world, and he is huge on community, and he's just finished his psychotherapy training. He's also a men's circle leader as well. So and we have similar visions in the world in regards to how we want to shift how communities are, basically, and how they're run, and therefore how we can be of service to the world as well.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Yeah. He was at one of the sessions I was at.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, he was.
So he's embracing all of the life force energy.
100%. Yeah. He's done quite a lot of work with like plant medicine, psychedelics. So he is already very opened to that. And obviously as a psychotherapist, like doing his human trauma work as well. Like, yeah. But again, it was like the amount of guys I said no to. The amount of guys that like I had so much hope for and really wanted to be in relationship with, but it didn't work out, and how devastated I was, the grief I went through, and it I just knew I'd know I'd feel it for my next guy. And even this is like, who knows, that at some point this might not align, this relationship, but for now it just feels it feels very right. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Can I ask what your family think about all of this work?
Oh, that's really interesting question.
Not in the guide.
Yeah, really not in the guide. Okay, and obviously, this is from my perspective. So if you really want to know that answer, I guess you'd have to ask them. And so a lot of this is my interpretation. Ultimately, my parents are really supportive. They always have been around all of our careers. Like, I have 3 older brothers, and we've all taken, I guess, like non-conventional careers, and different passions. But my parents are heavily Christian. And so I was raised as a Christian. They were actually children's workers. My dad went to Bible college and like studied it. And then there were children's workers at a church. But this contributed to his breakdown because I think he saw the corruptness of how a church can be. And he couldn't hold that. And it just tipped him over the edge. So, yeah, there's been a lot of, even for me, having to work through like spiritual wounding because of the things that I was taught. And even in Christian religion, there can be a lot of talk around, experiencing things like jealousy or selfishness or hatred as a sin. And therefore you're going to go to hell or wherever it may be. Whereas for me, I'm such a believer of like that's a human experience that we need to love and accept.
Yeah.
And only when we love and accept it can then we choose to fully come from love. So, yeah, there was just a lot of hypocrisy that I witnessed through the teachings that came through from that and then how I was raised. But interestingly enough, how I began to bridge this with my parents was I'd speak their language about it. So they were not, I think they're a couple of times they've been like, we're a bit worried about you.
I love that.
Yeah. Bless their hearts. Yeah, and again, understandable, because I have had like, yeah, people that are deeply religious, you know, comment on stuff on Instagram being like, this is the devil and all that sort of stuff, because I understand it looks quite extreme, it looks quite out there. So I understand that, but actually when I began to speak about it like the Holy Spirit, and I remember actually even as a child, I'd see people shake, I'd see people or hear people speak in tongues, like it was something that was very normal. So actually my parents knew it was very normal. They've through the power of prayer, they've witnessed people put their hands on someone and the pain disappear. So I think we're tapping into the same things.
Totally.
We're just calling it different things. And I think, you know, I think that was very challenging for my mum, because she's extremely, Jesus is the way, which is honestly very admirable, like how deep she is in her faith. And I learned a lot from that as well. There's a lot of gifts that I took from that. So they are actually more supportive than I think most would be. But and they just, from how I feel, is like I feel they just have a lot of respect that I'm just really being called to help the world, and they see that and they feel that. So they're kind of like the support they've given me over, like, since even before my concussion, but definitely since my concussion, like I couldn't have gone through this without them. Like I've been living with them. So if I hadn't been living with them, I would have had to get a job to pay for stuff, which meant that I wouldn't have had so much time to be able to go into my inner work. Yeah. And I just knew that was a priority. So again, like, I'm very understanding and aware that we all have had our own responsibilities. And oh my goodness, if you go through an awakening or a dark night of the soul, when you have a house and kids and lots of responsibilities, I do not envy you. Like, I was very fortunate in the sense that I didn't have any responsibility. I was so free that I could just really go deeply within my psyche. But saying that also, it's like that was a choice. I chose to go back home to relieve myself of that financial pressure so I could go deep within myself. And, you know, I'm still in the process of like building myself back up from that. But yeah, so they've supported me loads. They have actually been really amazing, considering that they're not in this work kind of thing.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
I've wanted to ask you that for a while.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
I love that you did it on a podcast. Sorry. It's all is welcome.
So, as if our listeners are thinking, I really would like to try out Life Force Energy sessions, what could they expect going into it?
Love this question. I mean, it's very challenging to put into words, because ultimately what you can expect is what you most need in that moment. And that's something that I don't know, that sometimes you don't even know. Because your mind can create expectations of what you want or what you think you need. But there's always like a deeper thing of this, like, universal intelligence of like, this is actually what your soul needs, this is actually what you need. And so just being able to stay open to that, I think, is really important. But yeah, I mean, this energy healing, depending at what stage you are at in your healing journey, if you are newer to healing and you haven't, you know, cleared your energy channels, which means like purged a lot of stuck, stagnant energy out of your system, then you know, it is likely, don't take this as a absolute truth, but it's likely that, you know, you may go into relaxation or feel some tingles, but it won't be like oh my gosh, like amazing thing. But it will it would definitely be working like it can't not work. And there is a melting process. Like the first stage of this work is literally like melting these energetic blocks and stuck stagnant energy that we store in our system, in our cells, in our organs, in our tissues, energy that gets lodged there that hasn't been felt or processed and been released. And that's where us as humans, we have difficulties where energy doesn't move, where it gets stuck and stagnant. That's why feeling emotions is so important. But yeah, so initially it could be quite still, but if you have done quite a lot of inner work and somatic work as well, nervous system regulation, and purged a lot of emotions, then you can expect like emotional releases. And by emotional releases, I mean the entire spectrum of emotions, like even the obscure ones like boredom or envy, as well as, guilt, fear, grief, sadness, anger, rage, despair, as well as joy, bliss, peace, even orgasm, like ecstasy, like these excitement, and the entire range you can begin to embody. And like I said earlier, it's an incredible opportunity to practice feeling and practice relating to these emotions. So you can experience those states. You can also experience very transcendental states. People can have been known to enter into the spirit world and roam the cosmos, see souls that have passed from this lifetime, and meet angels and guardians and have visions, and just intelligence, universal wisdom whispered to them. But you can also experience a lot of release from the vocals and from sound. And so again, it doesn't necessarily have to be screaming and crying. It could be hysterically laughing. It could be words of affirmation coming out, just sentences come out. It could be, moving into animal-like primal sounds, or like even baby sounds if you're releasing baby trauma. As well as something called light language, which for those that don't know is it's almost like frequencies of the universe coming through, which is what I mentioned earlier. Like some people call it tongues, some people call it light language, and those sounds seem to resonate, and some people don't even know what they're saying. Like I facilitate with light language. It's relatively at the forefront of my facilitation. Not all facilitators are like that, but for me it is. And I have no idea what it's saying, but what's interesting is the repeated rhythms and syllables. So I'm saying a message over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah, which is really interesting. But generally, like you experience a lot of bliss and love, and again, ultimately, you're moving towards the intention of embodying we are one. Everything is one. Yeah. So it can be like the body can move in various ways. Like it can be anything really that can happen, or you can just be very still and not feel that anything's going on. But the more, like I said, the more sensitive you become to this energy, and the more the energy channels begin to open, it's like you will begin to move with this energy, or this energy will begin to move through you. And I think that's the main intention, is allowing yourself to surrender enough so that spirit and soul can move through you, and you begin to live your life like that. Yeah. And I think that's all there is. So for me, I try to, I believe I'm fortunate of not knowing about Kundalini earlier than like when I entered into my mentor, because I'm not getting caught up in, I want the Kundalini awakening. I'm just approaching whatever life is mirroring me in the moment, and then how can I just surrender and connect and allow spirit to move through me. And that's all I focus on, really. Yeah I love that. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So where do you see this going? Let's just start with your work. Yeah. Where do you see it going in the next few years?
Well, we have a little joke between us facilitators, because ultimately our goal is for us to put ourselves out of jobs, because everyone will have activated. Everyone will be embodying this energy. Yeah. You won't need us. And ultimately that is for me the goal and the intention, because when people have embodied their divinity, we're at the same time as obviously like understanding their wounds, because you can't have, that's what I love about this work, it's like you can't not face your trauma with this work. Well, you can choose not to, but then you just don't transcend into these high states of consciousness. You definitely do require require both, I believe. And so you're going to build a world from wholeheartedness, from peace and from love, while still respecting and understanding human nature. And so for me at the minute, it's kind of like I'm just doing as many of these sessions as I can whilst maintaining my energy.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I'm like beginning to think about retreat spaces, because there is such power in taking people out of their everyday environment into a space where they can deeply look at themselves without distraction. But for me, like even working with this energy, these sessions are great because they're a little bit like drip fed to you. Yeah. It's like turning on a tap and then just turn it off a bit and then turn on the tap and slowly the bath fills. And that's what I love about these, like that it's not like a plant medicine ceremony where like, yeah, you're in it for 8 hours, whatever. And it can be quite a jarring transformation. And though still, you know, this can have that sort of quality as well, sometimes depending how deep you go. But I think it's really powerful to have containers where, say, you do like a few sessions across a few days, or a couple of sessions within a day, and you can go like really deep and just immerse yourself in this energy. I think it's really powerful. But then, yeah, it's just how to do that with making sure there's proper integration support. And and like I said, I've just been doing things very slowly. I'm not. Before I used to do business in such a rush, and now I'm like, no, I'm going to do it in my time. So yeah, maybe in the next year, I think that will happen. I'm looking at venues now, so it's definitely progressing to that way. But at the moment, me and my partner, we have a vision of how community looks, and again, like our vision is that we move into a community where like jobs don't even exist because the community just supports itself. But of course, within that, like there is a healer. Like a healer has a role within that. So yeah, I'd love to take up that space in a community eventually as well. But yeah, I think I'm just at the minute I'm very open to where I'm going to be guided to. My intention is to live by the guidance of spirit and what my soul is asking of me. So right now retreats are coming up, so I'm like, okay, I'll look at that then. But other than that, I'm just running in person and online sessions. So I'll just continue with that, giving people support as much as possible.
The retreats sound amazing.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Also, when you were saying about the community, have you seen the like Findhorn community up in Scotland?
No.
You should check that out.
Okay, all right, cool.
There was a point where I was like, I'm moving.
Yeah.
It's very similar to what you were talking about in a way.
Yeah. But they are popping up everywhere. I've heard about one in Cornwall.
But there needs to be one around here.
Yeah, I know, right? Well,
I don't want to rush you.
Yeah. But I'd really like to live in community.
If you could just speed that up a little.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, my partner has really awesome vision about like taking over a church. He can be an intermittent minister. Ooh. And so create like a little bit like Sunday service, but that's not religious, where there's like meditation, maybe a teaching, but where people come together and then just have a rave and like just bring in the normality of like dancing and singing and connecting, because we've just like, you know, even if you look at our houses, they're fenced off and like it's annoying if our neighbours come round and all this sort of stuff, and rather than actually like really leaning into each other. But of course that takes unpicking some trauma and like some conditioning. But yeah, that's sort of like where I love to build. But yeah, for me, I'm getting drip fed that incrementally. So I don't know, he's a bit more of the vision holder with that. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
a little powerhouse.
Yeah.
The two of you.
Yeah. We are adorable.
Where will this go? It's exciting.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, at the minute it'll be around where we are right now, but we'll start there and see where it leads.
So I guess then your dream for the world and everyone in the kind of greater awakening is, as you said, that everyone is embodying this energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there more to that? How do you see the consciousness expanding?
Yeah. Well, I think that's it in a nutshell. Like, I do think as a consequence of that, the world will look very different. I think we're already seeing systems, like the shadow of systems being revealed, and the shadow of, like people in power and leadership. And the more individuals are having an awakening, the more they're questioning, the more they're like, you can see the childlike play among some of the leaders of the world. And this is just my opinion, so take that with a pinch of salt, please. Yeah. And so I think that will look very different. We'll then be calling upon their leaders. But it's even really interesting. Like, I don't know if do you follow Aubrey Marcus?
No.
Okay, so he's quite a significant spiritual leader in the world, but he recently opened up about being in a polyamorous relationship. He's married and being in a polyamorous relationship, and it's not new for him. Like, if you've been following him for a few years, like, yeah, but it was a big thing on the internet, and suddenly my Instagram feed was just full of people like having an opinion about it. And it was just like, wow. So even this is what I'm talking about with the shadow, we really get to be careful with it. Because like what it did not sit comfortably with me. I think people are entitled to their opinion, but it was the shaming that took place. And these are all spiritual leaders, and like, people that I really admired, looked at, and it was suddenly just a bit like, oh wow, okay, cool. I just think a lot of things are happening in the world right now where the shadow is being revealed. And it's being revealed for us to almost like lean into it more. Because then it's just, otherwise it's just going to take on a power of its own. It's that thing about mold, it festers in darkness and like damp and isolation. And so we need to begin to shine light on it. And just like I said at the beginning, like give people grace for their shadow and for not being perfect, 'cause perfect doesn't exist, and all this kind of stuff. So I think it's happening. I think, we're really on the brink of significant change collectively, which can be terrifying, but also really exciting. And again, I think if you're drawn to this way of being in this line of work, it's like, I'm guessing that you have something in your soul being like, this is why you're here. Like, we need you. We need you to look at your stuff, so then we can begin to create a new earth. And a different way of being. Because this ain't working for us. Right. We are the most ill, the most like depressed, like our mental health, even diagnosis like ADHD, autism, like they're just going off the scale. Totally. And it's like it's kind of that thing in healing where things get worse before they get better. And just collectively you're just seeing everything just get worse and worse and worse. The beauty of that is that the more the darkness rises, the more the light is as well, which is one of the reasons why I think this work is really important. But we just need to be ready to make change. And again, humans, I mean, you'll know that as a hypnotherapist, our minds do not like change, and it likes to do sneaky little tricksies on us to keep us safe and stuff. So, it's one of the reasons why COVID was so core shaking, because it just chucked the entire world into uncertainty. And then it was like, right, now we get to see who is grounded in themselves and fear. And that's a practice. And this is why I love these sessions. It's like you get to practice that stuff and take what you learn from these sessions into everyday life, but you've got to be willing to do it. And again, it just leadership, country leaders, it was exposed. It's very exposing. God bless the UK. Very exposing. Right. Yeah, and I know I'm touching on sensitive issues here. Obviously, these are just my opinions, but for me, it didn't feel good enough. And I agree. And so something needs to change. And I think, I believe this is an answer. It's not the only answer, because this isn't the only modality that's helpful. But like, it's a powerful one for sure.
Very powerful.
Yeah.
And definitely going to contribute to this big shift that's happening.
Yeah. I think the main reason is because, and this is what I say about this healing modality, is that it won't take you to somewhere you weren't already destined to go.
Yeah.
It just gives momentum to it. It gives you a good push. So I would suggest that this potentially might err on the more intense healing modalities than less intense. Yet it can obviously be really gentle as well. Like, it will never give you more than it can handle. And it reveals exactly what you need in that moment. Sometimes that's deep rest, like I said. Sometimes that's nervous. I actually received a session on Monday online. And my session, I was in my mind the entire time. And you could argue, like, you know, I've been doing meditation on and off, on and off for about, oh my goodness, like 10 years now. And I make sure I connect to myself. I make sure I'm in stillness and silence, like, pretty much every day at some point. And so, yeah, it's practice for me, but I'd say that in the grand scheme of things, I've done quite well with my progression with it. But I was in my mind the entire time, and every single time I coaxed my awareness back into my body to be like, okay, what's my body speaking though? What's my body saying? It would just go back into my mind the entire time. And my takeaway from the session, and what I realised my gift and my lesson was like, learn to love your mind. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I love your mind. And I had been in a fight or flight state for quite a long period of time. And I just dropped into my parasympathetic nervous system. And I was like, oh, that's all I needed. So it was actually really gentle for me. It was actually like really beautiful, because that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
So even though online it can, like, if you ever see images or pictures or videos of this modality, yes, it can look intense. It can look like that, but it can also look like the peace you didn't realise you needed.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it is just lying there and you're just in this restful state.
Yeah.
And that's just as powerful.
Yeah. And this is what I say as well. It's like, for me, I think the lesson that you take away from it, from my experience, is more so what happened in the session. It's more the meaning you attach to it and how you relate to what happened in the session.
Yeah.
So just like I said, like, my session was, my mind was just going like business stuff, just constant. And so, you know, I could be like, well, it didn't work then. It's like, it was meant to get me in my body. And it was like, no, what happened? That was what happened. My gift in it was like, how was I relating to my mind in chatter? Because as much as, you know, even the sentence, we're trying to quieten the mind, it almost has a sense of like, we're just trying to shove it down and shove it away. Well, again, as we speak about shadow, the more you suppress and reject something, the more power it gets, the louder it gets. So for me, it was very much like, no, this was an opportunity for me to love that part of me, to love the part that plans all the time, to love the part that, like, is in my masculine, without being like, I shouldn't be though. Like, I should be, I'm a feminine being, I'm going to be in my feminine. Like, it's actually the judgments that we place on what happens to us that almost like cements things in and keeps ourselves stuck. So yeah, it can be a wide variety of things. But yeah.
Are there any regular rituals? I won't say daily, because, you know, some days are very different to others, but anything you couldn't live without now that you do as part of your daily routine?
Oh, you know what? Like, silence, being in silence. So sometimes that can look like meditation. I tend to pretty much every day take some time where I lie in my bed with an eye mask on, and that can sometimes be an hour, sometimes that can be like 10 minutes, but just to not have any stimulation.
Yeah.
And then for me, non-negotiables, nature every day. Yeah. It's very rare that I stay inside all day, and I tend to get out first thing. That's something that I do. And again, working with this energy, like grounding is just so important. So bare feet on grass or Epsom's. There's just so many things. That's really hard, because I kind of like very much live my life on, what do I feel like I need in this moment?
Yeah.
I'm consistent with like what I guarantee I do every day is something for me. Every single day. Guarantee. But what that looks like and how that is, it changes. Like even exercise routine.
Yeah.
And again, like working in cycles. At the minute, what seems to be really working for me, so I spend about like 10-15 minutes doing some mobility exercises, and then I walk everywhere, and then I teach Pilates as well. But that's pretty much the only exercise I'm doing at the minute. Like if I was to start like running, I think I'd burn out. Like I don't think my system's like quite got there yet. So I'm just playing with like really listening to myself and what I need, but definitely the rest and being in stillness. Like we do so much to distract when literally sometimes the sensations in our body is just asking to be witnessed. And that can be just enough. Just being like I said, it's just describing it. It's like, oh, there's like a heavy stony feeling on the left side of my chest or something like that. Or, oh, I really noticed there's like a tingle in my left toe. And just closing your eyes and just saying that. And then like, if you do it enough, I love this practice, you can just watch it move. Like the energy moves and transforms.
That works.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. So it doesn't have to be like these loud, wild things. It's just, it's actually just quietly listening and accepting all that is, which is, I know, so challenging, particularly if you've got pain or an illness or like, trust me, I know, because I've had 2 now significant, really, really significant injuries in my lifetime that took me out for a couple of years, and you had to just sit with pain physically. Yeah. And so it's hard, but
it is.
Life is. Being human is challenging.
Hard and beautiful.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's like the most magical
form of torture.
Yeah.
Were you not going that hard?
It's like the most awe-evoking experience. When you really begin to pay attention, if like you look at nature, and even like I'm looking outside in your garden right now, and like the sunlight on the leaves. Yeah. And just even like the gentle wind. It's like, oh my, like literally I think I want to cry. Like it's just so beautiful. And it's like, oh my goodness, we're that too. Like we have that beauty and that intelligence and that. And it's just so awe-evoking. And at the same time, like you said, this world can also be torture for us. Yeah. And the suffering's real. And it's like an and. It's not, we don't stay positive and neglect the negative, but also like, not everything is shit. It's like, there's also such beauty. And again, it's just finding what you can to re-remember the beauty and looking beyond what's going on in your life right now. Like what gets you to zoom out. And that's one of the reasons why I love these sessions as well. Like it gets me to zoom out and reconnect on a deeper level to what's going on. And sometimes I get insight to literally a situation that is going on in my life right now. Yeah. More often than not, I'm just like, hey, you're love. Yeah. You're love. And I'm like, yeah, I really am.
I love that.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So true.
What would love do now?
Yeah. Exactly. What would love do now?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I feel like we could talk forever.
I do as well. Yeah.
Yes. This has been a cracker. Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. We'll have to do it again.
Yeah.